Joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is play-by-play specialist for ESPN, Amin. And Adam, according to Jerem Jordan's rankings, I believe you are currently the 17th most famous alum from VALPO, behind, of course, Ginger Z, Lloyd McClendon, and Reuben Kahn.
I totally buy Ginger Z. I totally buy Lloyd. What Reuben Kahn? Come on, you guys are killing me. I thought I had at least the step on Rubes, but apparently not.
You're up one this week in the VALPO power rankings.
Yeah, I want to see Jerem Jordan's big board. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
I want to see the board. I want to hear the logic. I need to see some kind of article written about defending this. I'm slightly upset, but I guess it just means I have to work harder.
It's released on Fridays. Last night, at Mullet Patrol, who patrols mullets, naturally, tweeted the following to you last night. Got a take on BYU basketball versus VALPO tomorrow? You responded, I'll talk about it on BYU Sports Nation tomorrow. So here we are. It's the main event tonight in Vegas, in a place where some great fights have taken place, and here we are with the Crusaders and Cougars. What's your take on BYU VALPO tonight, Adam?
You know, I think you got heavyweights. If you want to go that far, I think we got a couple of heavyweights in this one. And I really look at Alec Peters, and I know that's the first guy that most people think about when it comes to VALPO basketball, and understandably so. The guy's going to end up likely being the all-time leading scorer in the history of the program. But I think we've got a couple of heavyweights. I think Eric Micah played really, really well. I'm impressed by what I see. He's obviously got a ton of skill at 6'10" and a lot of size. And I think with Peters at 6'9", he's 235 pounds, and he can play multiple positions in the backcourt, but he can step into the front court. And you guys saw it last year. You guys understand the type of skill set that he has. And when they needed a big play against Alabama the other night, he was the guy that they leaned on, and that's been the case. That's typically been the case over the course of these last, I would say, almost 24 months. Really, they can lean on him about as much as anybody on the floor, and that's I think it's fitting that in Vegas you got a couple of heavyweights going at it tonight.
Adam Amin of ESPN with us, previewing his alma mater, Valparaiso, against BYU tonight.
Our alma mater.
Our alma mater.
Well.
That is right. We'll get into the potential
There's something on the line
wager here
Yeah.
in just a moment. Hey, Adam, you bring up Alec Peters, and he's averaging over 25 points a game. Is there a defense that can slow him down?
I think scout-wise, he's still working on the step to the left. I feel like that's the one thing that's kind of stuck out on tape. But really, he is, I think, as skilled as just about any major backcourt player that we have in college basketball. And I keep calling him a backcourt player because I think he's got a guard skill set, and I think he could play a 2 if they wanted him to at the next level. But I think he's really the perfect 3, and he can be a mismatch, or he can go down low and play the 4. But all that being said, I think his skill set really is, and I don't say this as a biased VALPO grad. I say this as a guy who watches a lot of college basketball, who has been watching this kid specifically for the last 3 years. And I just feel like there's so much more to him than maybe he's even let on. I think his skill set is so much higher than a lot of players we're going to see. He's starting to develop himself into somebody who really could be a first-round draft pick, because at that position in the NBA, especially with teams going a little bit smaller, a little bit faster, a little bit more skilled at the 3 and the 4, I feel like his skill set is about as good as just about anybody in college basketball, and his versatility probably sticks out as much as anybody's as well. He has been a little bit more turnover-prone in the early part of the season. That's one thing that I think he does need to make sure he stays clean with. His turnover rate was a lot lower the last couple of years. So other than that, I think his skill set is just about as good as anybody's.
VALPO doesn't have a dude on the roster or coaching with the last name Drew. What's up with that?
Yeah, this was a big transitional period, and this was, I think, a major reason why Matt Loddick got the job. And he was a key cog in the coaching staff the last couple of years. And to have familiarity with the program, to be somebody who has been through these fires with Bryce Drew on the sideline, and to see exactly how this school kind of works. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I feel like it's very similar with what you guys have at BYU and Dave. I mean, 12 years he's been there, I think, right, at this point. So
yep.
there's a culture. There's a certain type of player, obviously, you get. There's a certain type of student that you get at BYU, and it's the same at VALPO. There's a certain type of player, character, student that you want at that school. And I think a big reason why it's been successful the last few years for VALPO has been that culture. And Matt was probably the right guy for this job. I know there was a lot of speculation about going out and getting somebody else, maybe going to Notre Dame and plucking one of the assistants. But I think Matt was the right guy for this job because of that culture. And as much as we miss having a Drew on the sidelines, and, heck, I still see all three guys. Homer still does basketball games on TV, on ESPN3 and things like that. I'll see Bryce when I'm covering the SEC this year, and I've covered Baylor a handful of times as well with Scott. You understand what type of guys they are and what type of culture they want at their programs, and I think Matt was the perfect guy to fill that role for VALPO.
Follow him on the Twitter machine at Adam Amin, ESPN play-by-play announcer, and also longtime Chicago Cubs fan. So congratulations on that as well,
Yeah, very
Adam.
nice.
I appreciated you guys checking in. I got a couple messages from you guys after they had won, and, it was an emotional time for my dad. My dad came to the United States in 1978, the winter of 1978. He became a baseball fan. He was a cricket player in Pakistan, came to the United States, started watching Cubs games on local television because that was all that was on between shifts at work. So that's what he would watch, and he became a Cubs fan and watched some terrible Cubs teams until 1984. They finally won a division championship, and he was locked in for life. And when I was born a couple of years later, I was pretty much hooked in. So that was a pretty emotional night for my dad and I about a month and a half ago, or earlier this month, I guess 3 weeks ago.
It won't be as emotional, but there's something on the line tonight between you and I, or us and you, with BYU and VALPO. So how about this? Whoever wins tonight, the other has to wear the other's T-shirt, right? So you would have to tweet out a pic, or we will wear VALPO shirts on the show. Deal?
This is a bold move by you gentlemen, which I certainly appreciate your willingness to do such things, and I am all in for it, my friend. It is,
let's go.
All in. Let's make it happen. I'll live up to it if BYU gets its revenge tonight. I will proudly post a photo of my very slick, by the way, BYU Sports Station T-shirt.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. We're not planning on buying a VALPO shirt, just so you know.
Hey, Adam.
Do you need me to send you guys? Do you need me to send you guys a shirt, or are you guys going to take care of yourselves, or what?
We'll take care of it. Or we could just have ESPN take care of it. Who knows?
I'm sure they approve of of this type of wagering on various radio shows across the country.
Great stuff, Adam. You brought it hard today, man. I think you're going to move up the power rankings in terms of
we'll
VALPO
see.
alums.
Released Friday.
Guys, I don't want to assume anything. I'm just going to take it one play at a time, and the good Lord willing, everything will work itself out. Was that all right to quote Bull Durham? I felt like quoting Bull Durham this morning.
Yes.
That's absolutely okay. Adam, we appreciate the time amidst your busy schedule.
Always a pleasure, boys.
Adam Amin on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.